there's a distributor of TTRPG rule books. What is TTRPG? Tabletop role-playing game. It's a big thing in fantasy and lit RPG. If a novel or a novel series gets big enough, everyone tries to look at making a TTRPG out of it. Well, Diamond, one of the largest distributors of these rule books, has filed to move its inventory to get rid of it without having to pay the publishers who sent them the books in the first place. Which means that these publishers, except for Hasbro, which is who does Dungeons and Dragons, now these smaller publishers who run Kickstarters or any of these other crowdfunding websites, they're now getting slammed with a whole bunch of returned inventory, which just blows their budgets because you have to move inventory, and this is one of the largest distributors. So you just keep an eye on this kind of stuff. This is one of the pitfalls that comes from trying to move into this kind of business.
So let me break down kind of how this happens, because this happens fairly regularly, and it's one of the risks of selling books on consignment. So there's two different models that books are sold on in a retail environment. One is wholesale, where the retailer will buy 100 books, and the retailer will get a 60% discount, let's say. So the books are normally $10. The retailer will buy them at $4, and then the retailer can sell them at whatever price the retailer wants to sell them at, with the goal of recouping the costs and then making a profit. That's how I think we assume all bookstores work. But that's actually, I don't think, the most common method. The most common method is something called consignment, which is where the book is never owned by the bookstore.
Right.
So the bookstore takes possession of the book, but not ownership of the book. Ownership of the book is still with the publisher and the owner, and then it's either simultaneous, where the retailer owns it for a split second as it's sold to the customer, or it gets transferred straight to the customer. I remember us talking about this in business school. I don't remember exactly the mechanics. Doesn't matter though. The reality is, Walmart, for instance, a lot of things are in consignment. So if a Walmart burns down, it's not Walmart's inventory that it owns. A lot of that inventory is actually owned by the various manufacturers or distributors or what have you. And this is one of those things that's negotiated, and it's a risk. So consignment is taking on risk, because if the book fails to sell, the retailer will return the book to the publisher. And often you have to pay shipping on the way back. Sometimes you just have them tear off the front page and destroy the book, which is to save money on shipping. And so everyone knows that that's a risk of it being returned. And what they don't realize is that the other risk is it'll be Borders Books, and a creditor comes in and just seizes everything and sells it against their debts. And you're like, wait, no, I own that. And you're like, so we'll see you in court. You're like, I don't want to go to court. It's like, then it's ours now. And so this is a risk. It's just a part of doing business. Be careful as you negotiate these contracts. If you just sign a boilerplate contract, it's almost always going to be in the favor of whoever handed you the contract. I do have a tool called Not a Literary Agent. It's a Patron Toolbox tool. Yes, everyone playing bingo, you can check your box.
I didn't do bingo this time.
It's great. It's great for reviewing contracts and finding hidden gotchas. And I've been very impressed with it in my tests.